Welcome everybody, Todd Costello from RE/MAX Center Realty here in State College, Pennsylvania. It is July of 2026, time for the monthly value message. And this month I want to cover a couple of topics, the second of which is the most germane word for active sellers and actually homeowners to cut to the chase. So check out the 60-second social. If you have any questions after the video, you can visit me at toddcostello.com. But what I want to lead with this month is the difference between data and noise, the difference between making informed decisions based on market data trends, historical data, and combining that data with your specific goals. So there's a difference between taking action in that form and taking action based on general noise that you hear in the industry. So let me explain. We're going to start with peak demand. Demand is the ratio between active buyers and sellers. So I have been tracking these numbers for 30 years because it is one of the many data points, but one of the more fundamental that you have to understand, or certainly your agent has to understand, to set expectations. So the ratio between active buyers and sellers. And the peak month of demand, the highest demand for the last 5 years, in 2021, the busiest month of the year was May, April, May, April. And what's interesting is this year, 2026, June so far has been the highest demand of the year. So by tracking this over 30 years, we at least can have a sense when peak demand is. That will directly affect active buyers and sellers in expectations and probabilities. And know that occasionally you get thrown a curveball. So you always have to have plan A and plan B. So there's a general sense of peak demand by year for the last 6 years. As we go lower, I looked at 10 years worth of year to date, the first half of the year for the last 10 years, January 1 to June 30th in the 4 school districts that I track, State College, Bellefonte, Bald Eagle, and Penns Valley. And the total number of closed residential transactions for those years, for the first 6 months, are as follows. And then we have the corresponding demand rate for the month of June for each of those years. And what you'll notice is the demand could vary fairly dramatically. We had a 98% demand this June, last month, and last year in June, demand was 30% lower. So when an agent might be saying, oh, I'm really busy, or the market's really good, well, they may individually be having a decent month, but how does that relate to your goals for you and your family? So you can't listen to the noise of generalities. You need to align with an agent that has been tracking this data for a long time and can help you and your family make assessments and forecasts to meet your goals. Here's another little FYI. Total number of closed residential transactions in the first 6 months of the year. In 2023, it was 539. In 2018, it was 715. The difference between these two numbers is nearly 25%. So there were 25% fewer sales in the first half of 2023 than 2018, and that matters to you. We need to set those proper expectations, but when we look at the total number of sales, the demand rate, even though the sales were 25% lower, the demand rate was 101%, and sales were 25% higher, and the demand rate was 104%. So the point is, the size of the market does not dictate your probable result. It is the ratio between active buyers and sellers that will dictate your result. So understanding the difference between market size and market demand is a fundamental aspect of providing professional service. So again, just the difference between hearing noise, which are general ideas, and specifics, which are actionable intelligence, is very important for my clients and those they care about. That is this month's message. Check out the most important word for sellers. Any questions, toddcostello.com. I will catch you next month.